of the Medal of Honor is Corinne Kelly. Her medal presented by Gillian Corbin, Executive Director of St. Vincent de Paul Place in New London.
It is an honor and a privilege to represent St. Vincent de Paul Place in recognizing a person who is so much a part of it. I have to tell you, when Corinne learned that I was going to speak, she asked me to not talk so much about her, but rather about the kitchen and the pantry and the fact that we need deodorant and we need some peanut butter. Well, you really can't talk about St. Vincent de Paul Place without talking about Corinne Kelly. By generously giving her time, her many talents, and her treasure to our ministry, she is a moving force that keeps us moving ahead. She is, in a special way, a keystone in our foundation. The Catechism of the Catholic Church teaches us that the duty of making oneself a neighbor to others and actively serving them becomes even more urgent when it involves the disadvantaged. In whatever area this may be, we all called to live this life of service to others as Christ calls us to serve. Amen, I say to you, whatever you did for one of these least brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. Corinne Kelly has served her neighbor right here in the local community for more than 2 decades. She is regarded as a super volunteer at St. Vincent de Paul Place in Norwich, Connecticut, where she has dedicated thousands of hours to help with the growing demand for services. Corinne doesn't just show up to help. She identifies the problem and comes up with a systematic approach to solve the problem. For example, in 2012, when St. Vincent de Paul Place was constructively evicted and its ministry faced homelessness, she never lost her faith that God had a plan for us, and she found a new home for the ministry. Corinne also brought her love of education to St. Vincent de Paul Place by starting an annual children's book giveaway, collecting enough books that every child at St. Vincent de Paul Place received at least 2 new books each year. As Mother Teresa once said, not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. Corinne's small acts of service have culminated into a full life of love and charity, which we celebrate in gratitude. It is therefore the distinct honor and high privilege of the Board of Trustees of St. Edmund's Retreat to recognize Corinne Kelly as a woman of virtue and to bestow upon her the St. Edmund's Medal of Honor and service to the church and community.
He was the lifelong companion of Edmund, and he wrote the prayer day by day.
Well, that was inauspicious. No, I want to just thank you. When we had to leave the building we were in, and I called the Navy to help. Don't ask me why I called the Navy. I just called the Navy. They came. The USS Dallas, the Cobb, the chief of the boat, brought his crew, and he brought people from the sub school. They came, they moved us from one building to the next. They spent all day there. They get all the pictures taken, they put us on the website. They're all in the car, they're leaving. The last car stops. The gentleman gets out of the back seat, a sailor, probably 25 years old, walks slowly back across this parking lot. It's a Catholic school parking lot, so you can imagine. I'm the only one standing there, and he walks slowly back, takes my hand, shakes it, and says, "Your work will be in my prayers." I could hardly breathe. It was so moving. Now he's probably in a submarine, and I'm having steak at the Marriott. Sometimes I think when things like that happen, God just kind of sits back and smiles. And I think that places like St. Vincent de Paul Place and Enders Island are very similar. They deal with people in crisis. They offer faith, they offer hope, they offer new beginnings. There's one big difference. It's peaceful at Enders Island. St. Vincent de Paul Place would probably compete with the mall on the day after Thanksgiving. So, but I want to tell you that in both of these places, God's uniquely present. And I'm going to tell a couple of stories that they'll show you what I mean. It's Thanksgiving Day. It's the day before Thanksgiving. It's 6 o'clock. We've got the meal for the 200 people coming the next day ready. I reach up to turn the light switch off. In walks 6 people, each carrying a fully cooked turkey. I have no room in the refrigerator. I have no room anywhere in the kitchen because it's stuffed full of food. I'm trying to think really quick, how can I smile and take these 6 turkeys and do something with them? Because there was such a genuine look on these people's faces. Anyway, I turned, Sister Marianne, the then director, was walking in the back door with 5 or 6 people. She said, "Corinne, this is going to be impossible, but I want to know, these people have just had an apartment fire. They need Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow for 30 to 45 people. Not a problem at St. Vincent. We added the mashed potatoes, we added the stuffing, off they drove. And I think God smiled as they drove off. Another time, a young man came, a homeless teenage boy. He needed a pair of shoes. We have a closet. Now, as Jill will tell you, we have a room. But at that point, we had a closet, and there were no shoes in that closet. Within minutes, a man walked through the front door with 2 big bags, black bags, groceries, trash bags. And he puts them down, and they're all clothes and shoes and things. And sure, you know the next part of the story is that we find a pair of shoes for this young man. But at St. Vincent de Paul Place, it's the right shoe in the right size. Adidas, size 9, triple E. God smiled. Another time, it was Christmas, and 2 ladies came in. Could they please get food? No problem, we signed them up. As they walked away, they turned and they said, we take care of a neighbor girl whose mother ignores her. Could we add her to our list? We get to at St. Vincent de Paul Place because we are given so much from donors that we could say yes. Added her to the list. As they walked away, I realized I had a stuffed animal, probably this high, wrapped in cellophane, taking up all kinds of room in the basement. And I needed a family of 1. So sure enough, I had the family of 1. I go down in the basement, I get the stuffed animal, I bring it up, I'm so proud of what I'm doing, and I hand it to these 2 women and they cried. And I said, oh, I've done something wrong. They said, oh no, this is our little girl's favorite cartoon character. Scooby-Doo in a wizard outfit. God smiled, and Scooby-Doo went to Girl Scout camp that next summer. So I think you can see the very unique presence of God in our lives at St. Vincent's as well as at St. Edmunds Island. We do have a pantry, we do have a dining room, we do have an advocacy program. August the 29th of this year, we had 15 additional families, new families, sign up for food. And when I do have used children's books during the year, I try to get them out to the children, and these families were all sitting in line waiting for their food. I reached over, got the cart, took it down, everybody grabbed their books, and as I walked back down the aisle, Both God and I smiled because there were 10 children holding those books, reading them. And yes, this is a commercial. We accept used children's books year-round and get new books at Christmas. When I first started at St. Vincent de Paul Place, I just went up there because I thought nobody knew me. I could get a few purgatory points. You know, they're supposed to be anonymous. So I had done 12 years on the Stonington Board of Ed, and that was plenty of politics for me. Mr. West, I honor your service. I don't think I could do more than 12. So anyway, I'm up there. I start washing dishes. I didn't realize that washing dishes is a job given to people who usually have community service ordered by the court. After about 2 or 3 months, the gentleman standing beside me leaned over and he said, "How many hours did the judge give you?" I said, "Lots." I was pretty proud of being anonymous and pretty proud of, just sometimes you feel good about things. So I told that story, and the story was repeated. Now flash forward 10 years later. New volunteer comes. "Oh," she says, "I work with your husband." And I said, "That's nice." And she says, "Yeah." She says, "The people at work really feel sorry for him. He's married to a woman who has so many community service hours to do." I'm married to a quietly generous man who lets me drive his truck, a truck that is used frequently at St. Vincent de Paul Place. And you know it's a real honor when a man will give you his truck. Now, I got a call maybe 6 months ago from Gemma Moran Food Center. They said, "We have a truck of bananas. It's Friday afternoon, nobody else is coming. Could you come and get some of these bananas?" So yes, I took the truck, I filled the back of the truck with bananas. I filled the back seat of the truck with bananas. I filled the passenger seat of the bananas. The floor of the passenger seat had bananas in it. I'm driving back up to Norwich, and all I could think of was that Richard Scarry book, Cars and Trucks and Things That Go, where everybody looks for gold bug. About page 8, I think, has a banana car in it. I could have been on that page with my banana truck. Again, God's presence is overwhelming sometimes when we do this kind of work. And I have been blessed with so many friends. Martha Murphy has met me in Michael McQuaid's baking aisle one day. After 10 minutes, I talked her into coming up just one day to the soup kitchen. She's now there 3 days a week, writes our grants, and keeps us afloat. Any number of friends are here tonight that have helped me through crisis, both real and imagined, and I thank them for that. I want to mention Dan Lamphere, and I want to mention Michael Wagner, who also help every time we need help there. But I think it would be interesting for you to hear that the people who help sometimes the most are the patrons. You come to love and know these people, and you come to realize that they care very much about each other. One of the things that happens in my household is my husband has learned to cook Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner so that I can go spend the morning with 200 of my closest friends and Jill Corbin. And we are constantly reminded how tightly knit the people are in the St. Vincent de Paul community. They may fight all year, but on Thanksgiving and Christmas, they make sure everybody has a seat at the table. They are to be respected. They are people who are fighting mental illness, they're fighting addiction. They are people who need a new beginning. In fact, they're people who need more than one new beginning sometimes. And we try to give them that. God's blessed me with 4 amazing sons. I am going to honor their wishes and not tell stories about them. They are healthy, they are intelligent, they are wise. My wisdom sometimes disagrees with their wisdom, but they have rescued me many times at the soup kitchen. They've come through and made me look very good. At this point, I just want to say thank you to Father Tom. Well, before I do this, let me tell you, we gave out 500,000 meals last year, just to give you a concept of what we did. But like St. Edmunds, we also gave out hope, we also gave out dignity, and we also gave out another new beginning for many people. Finally, I want to thank Father Tom, the board, and everyone who's responsible for putting me before you, because finally, you've helped restore my reputation and explain to the world that Jim Kelly's wife doesn't have that many service hours to do it. May the road rise to meet you, may the wind be always at your back, and may God smile often in your day.